Hey guys, welcome back to the English Communication Podcast. Today we're going to be discussing many different things, but we're going to be focusing on what to do when you change jobs or you're traveling to a new country. How can you adapt your English communication skills to start speaking comfortably with native people? How can you really start to develop the confidence and the communication ability to really start expressing your ideas, expressing your opinions, responding more naturally in the language? What can you do? How can you achieve it? And in this video today, I'm going to give you 3 pieces of advice that I think are really useful for you as an English learner to help you develop your communication ability and to finally just relax in the language and let it flow, let it come out and start speaking with confidence. Okay, so the first piece of advice I really want to share with you is to start small and speak often. So many times we all fall into this trap where we are looking for the perfect moment to speak. We are looking for that perfect opportunity to ask a question. We're looking for that perfect moment to finally showcase to the world that we can use the English language and that we can communicate well. Well, I'm sorry to spoil it for you, but there is no perfect moment. There will be lots of small moments, and these are the moments that I really want you to capitalize on. And so when I use this term to capitalize on, it means to take advantage of it, to take advantage of these moments, okay? So they will be small moments that are just common moments in the cafe, in the restaurant, asking for someone for directions, speaking, just like exchanging pleasantries. So exchanging pleasantries are what I mean by this is how we greet each other in the English language. Hi, how are you? Yeah, how's your day going? Is it busy today? These are pleasantries. These are just things that we use in English to start conversations and also just to be polite as well. We ask these questions because it is nice to ask them. That is why we use them in the English language. So I want you to start small and I want you to speak often, because when you start asking questions, no matter what the question is, whether it's a simple question, whether it's a complex question, whether it's getting to know someone or making a connection, by getting into the habit of stepping out of your comfort zone, pushing yourself to ask a question, it really helps you to break down the mental barrier in your mind. And this mental barrier that I'm referring to is the one that stops you and prevents you from speaking well in English. It's the barrier in your mind that stops you when you are trying to find that lost word. It stops you from really speaking at the level that you know you have, because you feel a little nervous, or you feel a little embarrassed, or you feel this sense of judgment come upon you, and you're like, what is this other person going to think of me when I start speaking in English? And the reality is no one really thinks that much. You know, they really focus on the topic and the way that you're communicating. There's not so much of this judgment of, are you good or are you bad or are you speaking well? It's just about, as long as you're understood, as long as you're able to pronounce the words correctly and use it in the logical flow, then you should be able to be understood in English. And this is what you're trying to do. You're not chasing perfection, you're chasing communication. The difference between communication and perfection is one is attainable and one is not. If you're chasing a communication goal, it means that you can realistically achieve it. If you're chasing perfection, it means you cannot realistically achieve it, okay? So it's much better for you to spend your time and your energy on trying to focus on what do you want to say, why do you want to say it, okay? If you have nothing to say, this is an opportunity also. So if you have nothing to say in a moment, you know, you don't want to ask a question and well, if you're asked a question, then you need to respond, okay? But we are not always asked many questions in our day-to-day lives. Sometimes you need to be the one that starts the conversation. Sometimes you need to be the one that exchanges pleasantries. You say hi, you say how are you say how's your day going. It's you that sometimes needs to ask the questions. not just if you need to find help or you need something from someone, but just because you are curious, or just because you are in a social situation where you need to show that you are friendly. You need to show that you can speak about many different topics. Maybe it's for business. Maybe you're going on a business trip, or you're starting a new job and you have colleagues that you need to get to know. These are really, really important skills that we need to have in our communication ability to make our lives easier, so to stop feeling this weight and this pressure on our shoulders when we go to speak in our second language, okay? So my first piece of advice is to start small and to speak often, okay? The next thing is you can anticipate, what situations you're going to be in throughout the day, So if you're traveling to a new city, so you know that you're going to be in a restaurant, you know that you're going to have to ask some questions related to menus. So it's okay to brush up and prepare a little bit in advance. So just to go over some of those key terms or key sentences that you want to use. For example, if I'm going to CrossFit, in Spain, as I am a Spanish learner, I will maybe prepare and review some keywords or key verbs that I want to express. One of my goals actually in Spanish is to tell a joke, make people laugh in the other language. Because again, this is a way to be able to show that you can connect with someone. And connection is built on relatability and humor and speaking in a way that involves changing your tone, changing your pace, changing your speed, and trying to speak in a way that helps to connect with that other person. That's what communication is all about. So if you get the opportunity, try to look at some phrases, some words that you feel confident using or that you don't. It depends how much you want to challenge yourself and really push yourself to start using some of those terms. Start pushing yourself to try and use a different term, a different phrase if you can, okay? So the reason for this is that it will just be, more fresh in your mind when you come to have that conversation. Of course, we can't anticipate all of the things that are going to be said to us, but we can anticipate what maybe we will want to say to others, okay? So this is what I want you to review. This is what I want you to check. And it's just going to help to boost your confidence. It's going to help you to overcome some of these challenges and this pressure that we feel in English. So I really just want you to spend a bit of time, make a little bit of effort to help you to overcome some of these language challenges by simply just reviewing some keywords and some key phrases that will really help to prepare you in advance for the situation that you're going to face. Of course, we can't always just rely on checking words, checking information. We need it to all be sitting very comfortably in our minds when we are speaking in English. We want it to be readily available. So we call this active vocabulary, right? So the active vocabulary that you have in your mind that's readily available is at your disposal, which means you can use it at any point in time with any person because it just comes to you. We use this phrase in English, it just came to me. It just comes to me. It just means that your mind has spent a lot of time learning and preparing and completing exercises and speaking and practicing so that the neurons in your brain are more strongly connected. They are strongly associated with one another and you have built these neural connections. So that's what's happening when we are developing our second language. We're building new neural pathways. We're building new neural connections. And that's why it's so good for our brains. So that's why I think language learning is one of the best hobbies or one of the best things that we can do in our lives because it helps with the longevity of our brain health, which helps to prevent lots of diseases. The other thing that I really want you to focus on is for when you speak in English, really try to pay attention to the other person and their body language, the way that they're speaking. Are they smiling? Pay attention to language cues, okay? So what we normally do if you want to build connection and we want to be relatable in the English language is normally we mirror the other person's way of speaking. So this can be in their tone, this can be in their gestures, and this can be simply also in their posture, how they stand, okay? So if they are very outgoing. Typically, they will use their hands a lot. Their tone and their intonation will change a lot. They will smile a lot. This type of energy is really nice and it's very friendly. However, if someone is a bit more reserved and a bit more quiet, you can mirror also the way that they are speaking and the way that they hold themselves and the way that they present themselves. This is called adapting your language to suit the audience. Okay, so you will have yourself, your language persona that is just part of you, is the one that that comes naturally to you, and this is absolutely fine. It's great. You gravitate towards this most naturally. But there are moments which will require higher energy levels, and then there are moments which require lower energy levels. So try to just tap into this emotional range that you have in English. So you will have this emotional range in your first language, but you also need to tap into it for your second language. When I use this phrasal verb tap into, it means to activate. Okay, so the way that we activate, we tap into this emotional range is to pay attention to others. How are they speaking? What tone are they using? Can you mirror that? Can you do that? A good exercise for practicing that is mimicking. Mimicking is an exercise you can do when listening to videos, when you repeat what the speaker says. So if you just repeat what I'm saying right now, this is a really useful practice to help you develop the same speed, intonation, and language pace that a native speaker has. Okay. So these are the 3 tips that I wanted to give you today. So to start small and speak often, okay? To prepare some phrases in advance, and also to think about the language persona. How do you develop connection with others, and to mirror other people's emotional range to help you to feel more comfortable and to be more relatable in the language. If you've enjoyed this video today, guys, you can head to Valo.com. That's VALLHO. So Valo is an English coaching platform. It's also an English community for like-minded learners to come together. We offer both one-on-one coaching and group classes. And this is a community which really focuses on communication, how to really develop your emotional range, your ability to communicate in the English language. So we have a framework, we have many exercises that we follow and that we implement that helps you to level up your English, to develop your English, to get to that next stage and to break through your plateau and to finally become a confident English communicator. Okay, I hope you like this video today, guys, and I will see you on the next one.